everybody. It is a Tuesday. That means only one thing. It's time now for True Crime Tuesday. A little bit different format today. We're going to do a little ripped from the headlines and then a little dumb crime, stupid criminals later on in the program. For that, we need a co-hostess. We bring in the co-hostess with the mostest. Here she is, Miss Mallie Fox. How you doing, Mallie?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm extremely happy, extremely pleased, and extremely tired after the weekend. How are you?
I can only imagine. I'm sorry, what?
I said, how are you?
I'm good. Had a busy weekend. Got fried.
Did you?
But I'm fine. Yes, I volunteered for a museum, so we had the citywide garage sale. So I sold maps behind the museum, and the sun was out. I did not have umbrellas or anything, so I got fried.
Oh, no.
Yeah, but it's okay. It was fun.
Are you still getting weird looks from your assembled peers from the museum?
Yeah, they think I'm weird.
Do they? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like the youngest one though. So
did you make any bars or anything to try and offset that this weekend?
No. I sat with. Actually, I didn't see anybody. I worked with a girl who I've never met before.
Oh no!
And
really?
You know how, like, when you meet someone and they're so difficult to talk to, it's like trying to pull teeth.
Oh, yes.
So it was very awkward, several hours of trying to have a conversation with someone that did not want to talk to me. So, yeah.
That's always fun. I had the exact opposite weekend. I was with a great group of people. The conversation was easy, funny. We had great times. Of course, the Potographs for Pooches event was up at the Palmer House in Sauk Center, Minnesota. You can hear the fatigue in my voice because I haven't slept much, but that's okay. Sleep is for the weary and the dead. But we had a great weekend. Raised $2,427 for the Eagles Healing Nest up in Sauk Center. And I gotta admit, I gotta play dumb here, Mallie, and admit that I didn't know much about, if anything, about Eagles Healing Nest before we got the opportunity to tour it on Saturday morning, before we actually did the event. And as I learned more about it, I was even more happy that we were raising money for it. And if I may indulge for just a quick second, Eagles Healing Nest does so much more than just train service animals for servicemen and women who are having problems acclimating back into society. They actually bring servicemen and women onto their grounds. They have a huge campus up there in Sauk Center, and they have both NA and AA programs for servicemen and women up there. They have job training programs up there. And they have a fully functioning farm that have horses, cattle, and chickens up there. Plus, they have an entire manor house for cats and an entire manor house for dogs. You got to love that.
Oh, right.
So, it was an eye opener. It got me thinking about the servicemen in my family that have since passed, and what a great facility it is. And man, by the time I came out of there, I was 10 feet tall and ready to raise some money. So I was inspired by the time I left there. So I was ready to go. And I thought, man, what a great organization. And there was one part of the tour as we were walking the grounds and getting to see everything and getting to meet some of the great people over there as well, over at Eagles Healing Nest. They really opened up their home to us and showed us everything. And meeting some of the great people over there, I thought, man, what a great model this is for all types of different groups. And they were telling us, well, Mark Pavlich, the 1980 USA hockey player who had problems with CTE, had even spent time there. And unfortunately, Mark committed suicide quite a few years ago. And because of that CTE, he was having problems himself. But before that, he had spent some time at Eagles Healing Nest, and he said that was the only place that he found peace. And with that, he had told the people at Eagles Healing Nest, I would love to build a place like this for athletes that had issues with CTE and couldn't acclimate back to society. But he asked them if they would make, as part of their mission statement, the commitment to bring in 2 athletes per year into Eagle's Healing Nest, to which they told them that they would. So now they bring in 2 athletes per year on top of servicemen and women, which is amazing. That's absolutely amazing. So, yeah, some great stuff being done at Eagle's Healing Nest and Sauk Center. And if you're a serviceman or woman who's having issues, whether it be with drugs or alcohol or even acclimating back into society, and you need some help, please look up Eagle's Healing Nest and Sauk Center. I'm going to put a link up at our website, darknessradioshow.com, so that you can look them up. If you'd like to donate, time, money, whatever it is, I'll put up a link as well, so you can contact them and do whatever you can for them. So I just think it's a really worthy cause. So there you go. So that's what that is. We had an amazing weekend. We had an amazing time investigating. It was a good weekend. So yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm jealous. Yours sounds better than mine.
Well, you got awkward conversation, and it was fun, wasn't it?
And sunburnt.
Yeah, and sunburned. Yeah, it's wonderful.
Hey, but at least I was hanging out in a haunted place, though, because the museum's haunted. So that was good.
Yeah, there you go. See?
Yeah, so there's my little paranormal thing for the weekend.
That's right. There you go. We've got some interesting stories today on Rip from the Headlines, Mallie. It seems like we have a common theme, and that is lovers done wrong, doing the wrong thing. Yeah, I think that's our theme. I'm going to start with a different story, though. I'm going to talk about outright theft.
Okay.
Our one story today that's just outright theft has to do with the drug companies. Are you ready for this? Mm-hmm. I was shocked by this particular story. This particular story is just talking about outrageously priced weight loss drugs. I'm going to give you a figure here, Mallie, that's absolutely staggering. Okay. Now, maybe this is a little bit selfish because I myself am on Mounjaro. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now, when they finally get you off the $25 a month ride for the voucher, most insurance companies cover it 80-20. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Which for some people, because the drugs are about $1,000 a month, it'll run you anywhere from a couple $100 a month to upwards of $300, $350 a month for these drugs, depending on how much it costs.
Right.
Now, the higher you go in dosage, the higher the price. So the dose I think I'm on right now is a $1,250 a month injection. Mm-hmm. So it's like $350 a month.
Right.
To be on this drug. Here's the headline, Mel. Prices would need to dramatically be slashed to avoid increasing the national deficit. Think about that for a second. Now, that seems outrageous, right? Doesn't that seem like hyperbole? But here's how they figure it out. And they're using the new weight loss drug, Wegovy, as an example. Okay. Because Wegovy is the more popular one now. That's the one that's being prescribed by doctors because it's a little bit cheaper, not only to pay for, but to manufacture. This one's only $800 a month.
But is that for weight loss or is it also for diabetes?
Well, it can be used for both, but mainly for weight loss. This was the one that was manufactured, I think, by Eli Lilly in order to strictly for weight loss. And they did this in response to everyone abusing Ozempic and Mounjaro.
Right.
So it's mainly just a GLP-1 drug, not a GLP-1 and 2. The one I'm on is GLP-1 and 2, okay? Because it works for heart and other things. So without getting into the entire article and just hitting the highlights here, there is a new Senate report that modeled the economic impact of the drugs in different uptake scenarios. If just half the adults in the U.S. with obesity start taking a new weight loss drug, such as Wegovy, the collective cost would total an estimated $411 billion per year. Think about that. That's half the adults in the country. $411 billion per year. That's a staggering amount. That's more than the $406 billion dollars Americans spent in 2022 on all prescription drugs combined.
Wow.
Isn't that something?
Mm-hmm.
There's only $406 billion spent on prescription drugs in this country, but it would be $411 billion alone on Wegovy. While the bulk of the spending on weight loss drugs will occur in the commercial market, which could easily lead to spikes in health insurance premiums, taxpayer-funded Medicare and Medicaid programs will also see an extraordinary financial burden. In the scenario that half of the adults with obesity go on the drug, the cost to those federal programs would total $166 billion per year, rivaling the program's total 2022 drug cost of $175 billion. That's one drug.
Right.
That's it. In all, by 2031, total U.S. spending on prescription drugs is poised to reach over $1 trillion per year due to weight loss drugs. Without them, the baseline projected spending on all prescription drugs would be just under $600 billion. Now, the analysis was put together by the Senate's Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions Committee. Ironically, the acronym is HELP. All right. Chaired by staunch drug pricing critic Bernie Sanders. Thank you, Bernie. I think we all can give Bernie, no matter what side of the aisle you're on, a help, not only a help, but a thank you for that. And it's quick to knock down a common argument about the high prices for smash hit weight loss drugs. That is, with their high effectiveness, the drugs will improve people's health in wide-ranging ways, including controlling diabetes, improving cardiovascular health, and potentially more. And with those improvements, people won't need as much health care, generally lowering those health care costs across the board. Now, I'm going to skip ahead a little bit and tell you this much. It only makes a minimum dent in that health.
Oh.
Yes, the cost of the drug is not worth what you would save on health care. So erase that out of your head.
Right.
It doesn't pay off.
Because in my head, that's what I would think. Oh, if you have all these people starting to get healthy, then they're not going to need health care for the other stuff. So it would save money in the long run.
That's right. It just does it doesn't
the wrong way.
It doesn't wash. No, it doesn't wash. It's actually more expensive to go that route.
Huh.
Yeah. So with that in mind, okay. Mm-hmm. In order for the healthcare system to survive and being able to carry these drugs and pay for them, we would have to slash the price or get the drug companies to slash the price of these drugs. Now, you may be saying to yourself, well, come on, you can't ask the drug companies to slice the prices of these drugs, right?
Yeah, you can.
You can. Now, here, you may say to yourself, okay, well, the Help Committee report, and here's the staggering, I'll give you the staggering number and we can end this story. Because you may say, well, how much room is there to slash the price of these drugs? Because they're relatively new to market. You may think they're expensive to manufacture, right? Mm-hmm. Mallie, I'm about to give you a staggering figure. You ready for this?
Okay.
Now, the Help Committee report offered a relatively simple solution to the problem. Drug makers should set their U.S. prices to match the relatively low prices they've set in other countries. This is how obscene this is. Are you ready? Mm-hmm. The report focused on Wegovy because it currently accounts for the most U.S. prescriptions in the new class of weight loss drugs, or GLP-1 drugs. Wegovy is made by Denmark-based Novo Nordisk. I'm sorry, not Eli Lilly, but Novo Nordisk. In the U.S., the estimated net price after rebates of Wegovy, this is after rebates, is $809 per month. In Denmark, they pay $186 per month.
Oh, geez.
That's right. More than $600 per month.
Wow.
That's how much more we pay after rebates than Denmark.
So they mark it up. Dang.
That's right. So they could slash at least that, right? And still make a profit?
Yeah.
Okay. A study by researchers at Yale estimated that drugs like Wegovy can be profitably manufactured for how much per month, do you think, Mallie?
How much they would sell it for?
No, how much do you think it costs for them to make it if they're selling it in Denmark for $186 per month?
I'm going to say $60.
No, that's fair because that you figure there's probably some markup there. And if you're thinking retail is probably, 2/3 of what it costs to make, then that's right in the ballpark. And that's a very good estimate. So yeah, it's probably $60 for each shot. It's $5 per month.
Get out.
It costs $5 per shot to make Wegovy.
Oh.
And actually, it's less than that. It says less than $5 per month to make Wegovy.
Wow. Do you think that they're charging so much because people are willing to pay it anyway? You know what I mean? It's like, well, we're just going to keep this a hot drug and make all this money because people will pay a boatload of money to lose weight or get the benefits.
That's how you drive demand.
Son of a biscuit.
Yeah. It says here, if Novo Nordisk sets its U.S. prices for Wegovy to match the Danish price, spending to treat half of U.S. adults with obesity would drop from $411 billion to $94.5 billion, a roughly $316.5 billion savings. Without a dramatic price cut, Americans will likely face either losing access to the drugs or shouldering higher overall health care costs, or some of both. The Help Committee report highlighted how this recently played out in North Carolina. Now, keep in mind, in North Carolina, the Board of Trustees for the State Employee Health Plan voted to end all coverage of Wegovy and other GLP-1 drugs due to the cost. That's going to be the future, folks, of your insurance plans. They're going to stop covering these drugs because they're too expensive and the health plans can't cover it. Then the next thing that's going to happen is, unless you have a medical exemption to take these drugs, your insurance companies aren't going to cover it. Medicare isn't going to cover it. Medicaid isn't going to cover it.
Because I know a couple people that are like obese, like morbid. What do you call it? Morbidly obese?
Morbidly obese, yep.
And they need that because it, like, their weight affects everything in their life, and they don't have the money to afford the weight loss drugs.
That's right.
That will prevent the other issues that are stemming from the being obese.
And if you don't think that's blatant theft, I don't know what world you live in.
So how do you get the pharmaceutical companies to lower? I mean,
other countries do it by forced pricing on pharmaceutical companies. But fans of capitalism, and I'm a fan of capitalism, don't get me wrong, will tell you that, well, it's a free market. So the free market dictates what the price is, supply and demand. So if the demand is high and the supply is low, well, then obviously the price is high. But the fact of the matter is sure, the demand is up there, but the supply is being kept low in the United States because the drug manufacturers are doing that. Right now, it's so hard to get a hold of these drugs because the drug companies are keeping the supply low now. It's hard to get a hold of. If you've ever had to try to search out a box of Manjaro in this country, it's hard to do.
I heard it's hard, right? Yeah. Well, my dad's diabetic, and I know that he's been having issues trying to get it.
Right. But they do it on purpose so that they can they can artificially keep the reserve. It's like dealing with the mafia.
But it's funny because like half of Hollywood's on it or taking it, and they're already thin. Mm-hmm. Now they're getting that, what do you call it, face, the Ozempic face.
Yeah, Ozempic face, which is a rounding of the face. Yeah.
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 Well, can you buy it? Can you go overseas and buy it? Can you
You can go to other countries and get it, sure. It's
all of a sudden everyone starts going to Denmark. The post office is like, what the hell? Why are we having all of these?
But
packages?
you technically, I think you're supposed to be a resident of that country, but yeah. But
well,
there's
you said technically. I'm
technically,
sure there's a way around it. Right. Black market.
Yeah, exactly. But you technically could get it, but I find that staggering. Wegovy, less than $5 a month to manufacture. And there's no generics. I mean, the only thing that's close is you can get illegal versions of the shot, which are extremely risky to take because some people have taken the illegal versions and had complications.
But even if they slash the price in half, they're still making a buttload of profit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You're still going to make in the billions if you slash it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went in the wrong business.
I'm telling you. Yeah.
Should have got into pharmaceuticals.
Yep.
Dang it.
Yeah. And there's no
political science.
There's no sign of it coming down anytime soon.
Yeah. That sucks.
Yeah. So let's get on with the real crime, shall we? I mean, not that that's not real crime, but
that's like white collar crime.
Yeah. Big time. Big time. Let's go to Atlanta, where a former Atlanta cop who allegedly killed a Lyft driver thought he was being recruited into what he called a gay fraternity.
Oh my gosh.
This is a disturbing story, Mallie. A former Atlanta Police Department officer was arrested this past week for allegedly shooting and killing his Lyft driver, who he claimed was in a gay fraternity and was trying to recruit him. Fulton County jail records show Kobe Minor was booked May 15th on charges of murder and aggravated assault. According to Minor's arrest affidavit cited by WSB-TV, on May 15th, just after midnight, Minor reportedly called a Lyft to pick him up from the home of a friend, a fellow police officer. Reginald Folks arrived, and during the drive, Folks reportedly spoke on the phone with someone in another language. WSB reports Minor allegedly heard a second voice, so he asked Folks to stop the car. Folks reportedly did not comply at that point, so Minor tried to open a door at a red light, but it was stuck shut. Folks allegedly reached to the back seat, so Minor took out his gun and shot him 3 times, including in the head. Yikes. Minor got out of the car after breaking a window. Another driver pulled over to assist because she saw Minor flagging down help. That's when he reportedly said he thought Folks was attempting to kidnap and recruit him into his quote-unquote gay fraternity. The Atlanta Police Department released a statement saying Minor resigned from the department immediately following his arrest. Minor was on administrative leave at the time because he was arrested in December on drug-related charges. Minor was reportedly not in custody of his department-issued firearm because Atlanta police took it from him when he went on leave. Minor joined the Atlanta Police Department in 2018. Folks was a wrestler who attended Clark Atlanta University. A Lyft spokesperson told WSB in a statement, "Our hearts are with Mr. Folks' loved ones as they confront this unspeakable tragedy, and we have reached out to offer our support during this difficult time. We stand ready to assist law enforcement with any investigation and have permanently banned the rider's account from the Lyft community." What an incredibly sad tragedy.
Something smells fishy.
You know, you would think that there might be a hint of, I hate to speculate, but you would think there's probably a hint of mental illness there.
Yeah.
You know?
And if he's already been in trouble with, I mean, he could have been in drugs or something, because isn't that why he was let go originally? Yeah. I mean, I think there's something else going on, and he came up with some type of story that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, something there doesn't sound right. That's for sure.
Yeah.
That's for sure. We go to Colorado.
That guy didn't have a camera. You know how a lot of the Ubers and Lyft drivers have those cameras?
Yep. He didn't have one in the vehicle. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That should have taped everything.
Right.
You're right. There should have been some sort of video there that captured everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a requirement to have one, but I know a lot of them do just for their own safety.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. There's something that doesn't quite jive there. We go to Colorado, where a man is found guilty of breaking into his ex's home and killing 4 before fleeing the country.
Dang.
Yeah, we go to Aurora, Colorado. By the way, I heard a lot of jokes about Aurora, Colorado from Richard Estep this weekend. I don't know what it was. I mean, Richard's from Colorado, but he had a lot of Aurora, Colorado jokes. I'm not telling them today, obviously.
Right, they've got a reputation.
I don't know. I think he's from there.
Okay.
I think he lives in the area, but I'm not going to repeat them, obviously. I love people from Aurora, Colorado. I want them to continue listening to the show.
Right.
Yeah, but I'll refer you to Richard to tell those jokes. That's for sure. A 22-year-old man faces life in prison without the possibility of parole after killing 4 people at his ex-girlfriend's home in 2022. According to the Colorado 18th Judicial District Attorney's Office, a jury found Joseph Castorina guilty on May 16th on 4 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of attempted first-degree murder. Castorina is scheduled to be sentenced on September 3rd. On October 30th of 2022 at approximately 2 a.m., a prosecutor said a woman called police and said her ex-boyfriend, Castorina, may be hiding inside her home and should not be there. The woman had reportedly filed a restraining order against Castorina the week prior. Shots were fired while the defendant's ex-girlfriend was still on the phone with dispatchers. Officers responded to the scene and found 4 people: Maria Serrano, Jesus Serrano, Kenneth Luck, and Rodolfo Perez, dead from apparent gunshot wounds. 3 of them were reportedly related to the defendant's ex. The 4th victim, who rented an RV on the property, went outside during the shooting and was killed. According to the district attorney's office, Castorina's ex-girlfriend and her 2 young children were not harmed in the incident. Upon further investigation, officials learned Castorina reportedly broke into his ex's residence on Geneva Street and waited inside with a gun until the family returned home. Castorina's ex-girlfriend allegedly observed the defendant's keys in her bedroom when she arrived, so she called law enforcement. Castorina fled to Mexico after the fatal shooting. According to Aurora police, he was apprehended in December of 2022 and extradited back to Colorado. Senior Chief Deputy District Attorney Darcy Kofel said, "We were not going to let a cold-blooded coward get away with murder. It was my honor to prosecute this case and help bring justice to the victims' families." Wow. Incredibly, incredibly tragic. Let's go to Oregon, where an Oregon man sentenced for beating his girlfriend's father with a hammer and strangling him with a leash.
Ugh.
Yikes. I tell you, none of this gets easier as we go through these different stories, Mallie. It's kind of a tragic week here on Ripped from the Headlines. A 24-year-old man will spend 19 years after entering a plea deal, killing his girlfriend's father in 2022 and leaving his body in a sleeping bag. Multnomah County District Attorney Mike Schmidt announced May 14th that a judge sentenced Zachary Hackman to 204 months in prison. I want to know who splits that up from years into months.
Yeah.
That's what I want to know. For first-degree manslaughter of James Harris, as well as 24 months for 1 count of second-degree abuse of a corpse. He'll also have to serve 3 years for supervision following the release. On October 9th of 2022, shortly after 6:30 p.m., officers with the Portland Police Department responded to Northeast Marine Drive, where they found the victim deceased. According to the Oregonian, Harris's remains were found in a sleeping bag within some heavy brush. The medical examiner's office determined Harris was a victim of homicidal violence. Harris reportedly died on October 4th of 2022 and had been hit in the head with a hammer and strangled with a dog leash. My God, what a horrible way to go. Hackman was dating Harris's daughter at the time, and they lived together, according to the Oregonian. Investigators obtained surveillance footage from nearby businesses that reportedly revealed Hackman covering a kitchen window with a towel in Harris's home on the day of his death. According to the Oregonian, the footage also showed Hackman and his girlfriend hauling a large girlfriend was involved in this. That would mean that she was involved in her dad's death? Ew. Hackman's girlfriend reportedly told police that her boyfriend asked for her assistance in cleaning up trash, but he told her afterwards that she helped him dump Harris's remains. Oh, dear God. Investigators also found blood evidence in the house, even though the couple had tried to clean the area. Officials arrested Hackman on October 23rd of 2022 on initial charges of murder, unlawful use of a weapon, and abuse of a corpse. Harris's daughter had not been charged in the case, and she reportedly told police her boyfriend made her help hide his crimes.
Jeez Louise.
Dear God, can you imagine the horror of that? You helped kill your own father.
Oh my goodness.
But there's something weird about this story, too. Mm-hmm. Because they state that there's blood evidence and that they were both trying to clean up blood. Don't you think that she knows at a certain point that she's participated in a murder?
You would think so. She might not have known it was her father, but it would have been somebody.
Right. You'd think she'd go, oh, well, what's this blood doing here?
Well, did he threaten her, though?
He must have. He had to have. I mean, there's something that's just way too fishy about it, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. Let's move on. A Louisiana couple allegedly shot a teen, lit her on fire, sexually abused her, and refused to get medical help.
Oh, my God.
I know. I just keep building,
This is an awful day of news.
I know. It doesn't get... There's no trips to Disneyland here, Mallie. There just isn't. No. We go to Thibodaux, Louisiana, where a 40-year-old woman and her 41-year-old partner were arrested on a slew of charges after a car accident led investigators to discover a teen girl had been shot, burned, sexually assaulted, and left without medical care. According to the Terrebonne Parish Sheriff's Office on April 20th around 11 p.m., Baton Police Department officers in Texas responded to a car crash on a service road off the eastbound I-10 and made contact with the driver, Terrence Washington. Washington was reportedly holding a firearm, which he surrendered to police before being taken into custody. Officers found the 15-year-old in the car and transported her to a hospital due to the severity of the victim's injuries. The girl's mom, LaTanya Harris, was also taken to the hospital. The sheriff's office said doctors at the hospital discovered the gruesome extent of burns to the upper body of the victim, along with the discovery of gunshot wounds to the victim's chest and face. A Baton police detective reportedly called the girl's injuries the worst she has seen in her entire career. The Terrebonne Parish Sheriff's Office got involved in the investigation the following day when officials from the Department of Child and Family Services reached out, and they started working with Baytown Police. Baytown Police Department detectives spoke with Washington, who allegedly admitted to shooting the 15-year-old victim twice, once in the head and once in the chest, over the span of 2 days. Oh. You had to survive that. That's just cruel and unusual. Additionally, Washington reportedly said he had been sexually abusing the teen for several months. There's a special place in hell for this person.
Oh, my goodness. Sounds like everyone from these stories are going there.
Yeah. A minor who was in the car with the victim, Harrison Washington, at the time of the crash, reportedly told police she woke up one night around Mardi Gras to the sight of the victim's body on fire, as LaTanya Harris stood over her bed with a bottle of rubbing alcohol and a lighter. What in the actual hell? The victim reportedly never received medical care.
What?
Yeah. Terrebonne Parish Special Victims Unit detectives obtained a warrant to search Harris's and Washington's house and found evidence that a gun had been fired in the house, as well as blood and the strong odor of infection and decomposing flesh.
Ew.
My God. Washington reportedly told detectives during a later interview that he knew Harris burned the girl because she found out about the sexual abuse, who she blamed for the encounters. Harris was released from the hospital on May 9th and arrested on charges of attempted first-degree murder, second-degree cruelty to a juvenile, and domestic abuse battery. Her bond was set at $1 million. Washington remains in custody in Texas, but there's a warrant out for his arrest for 2 counts of attempted first-degree murder, second-degree cruelty to a child, obstruction of justice, molestation of a juvenile, 3 counts of indecent behavior with a juvenile, and 5 counts of second-degree rape. Seems like there should be more there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sheriff Tim Saunier, I believe is how it's pronounced, said in a press conference on Friday, it's a conscious shocker, especially when it's a family member, a mother. I served 22 years in the Marine Corps and have seen a lot of things. and this has shocked me more than most of the things I've dealt with in my 22 years in the Marine Corps. He added, she's an incredible young lady to be able to encounter what she went through and to tell our detectives.
Oh.
That is incredible. That is incredible. One last story here before we go to break. A Nebraska Supreme Court upholds the conviction of a woman who tortured and killed her female Tinder date.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, Tinder isn't exactly all happiness and joy. But I suppose
Apparently not.
I suppose I'm not telling anybody anything new, am I?
Right.
Yeah, that's not a newsflash to anybody. The Supreme Court of Nebraska upheld the conviction and sentencing of a woman who tortured, killed, and dismembered her Tinder date in 2017 with her boyfriend's help.
Wait, her Tinder date, but she had help from her boyfriend.
Yeah, I think she was playing, what do we call it, Mallie? A beard?
Oh,
no, wait, the boyfriend would have been the beard, wouldn't he? But can females have beards if they're playing lesbians?
I don't know. You are asking the wrong person.
Yeah, I think I'm wading into dangerous waters here. The state Supreme Court released its decision on Friday, May 10th, that Bailey Boswell had appealed her conviction after she was found guilty in 2020 of premeditated first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit first-degree murder, and improper disposal of human skeletal remains in connection with the death of 24-year-old Sidney Loof. Boswell's boyfriend and co-conspirator, Aubrey Trail, was convicted of the same charges. He is on death row, and Boswell is serving a life sentence. During Trail's trial in 2019, he reportedly yelled, "Bailey is innocent, and I curse you all." Then he slit his own throat.
Ooh.
By the way, he did survive that injury. Probably not the best thing.
Right.
Try that. Prosecutors argued Boswell and Trail formed a conspiracy to murder someone for sexual gratification, which led them to Loof. They also said Boswell and Trail recruited other women into a dominant, submissive sexual relationship that included grooming the women through physical and sexual punishment and regular discussions of witchcraft and the occult to plan and participate in torture and murder for sexual gratification. Well, they sound like a lovely couple.
Don't they?
Jeez. Loof and Boswell, who were using the name Audrey, matched on Tinder in November of 2017. They went on a date on November 14th of 2017, and a second one a day later. Loof did not show up to her job at a hardware store on November 16th, so she was reported missing. Surveillance video reportedly showed Boswell and Trail following Loof to work on November 15th. That same day, Boswell and Trail bought a hacksaw blades, drywall blades, a knife, chemical drain cleaner, and other items at various stores around Lincoln. Boswell purchased bleach, trash bags, and cleaner on the morning of November 17th. Police spoke with Boswell on November 17th, and she admitted that she and Loof went out on a date, but she said she dropped her off at a friend's house. On November 18th of 2017, Lincoln police conducted a welfare check at Trail and Boswell's apartment, where they noticed a strong smell of bleach. Investigators used cell phone and cell tower data and tracked Boswell and Trail's movements around the time Loof disappeared. In December of 2017, investigators began searching remote areas and eventually discovered a trash bag with severed remains. They located other bags spread around the area and collected 13 body parts. Never a fun game to play, Mallie.
No, find the parts.
Yeah, never a fun game to play. In addition to the human remains, investigators found other evidence nearby, including an extension cord, Loof's cut-up license and credit cards, plastic tarps with what appeared to be blood and bodily fluids, a sauna suit with a hole in the genital area, a sex toy, and more. DNA from Loof, Trail, and Boswell was reportedly found on those items. The medical examiner took photographs at Loof's autopsy, which were used at Boswell's trial to illustrate the pathologist's conclusions. According to the court opinion, Boswell objected to the photographs being used. The testimony about witchcraft and the occult, evidence about her sexual fantasies and sexual torture, and other comments Trail made during the trial. Boswell claimed the photos were irrelevant, were more prejudicial than probative, and were needlessly cumulative. The court, however, argued photographs in a first-degree murder trial can also provide visual proof from which a jury could reasonably infer that the homicide was committed purposely and with deliberate and premeditated malice. Well, that's obvious, right?
Yeah.
The justices said they agree with the photographs of Lyft's recovered body and that they were graphic and gruesome, but so too was the crime. Well, there you go. The photographs accurately depict the stark reality of a horrific crime that involves strangulation, torture, dismemberment of the body into 14 segments, and disposal of those segments in plastic trash bags left in rural ditches and fields. Sounds to me like the justices are pretty jaded. That's what it sounds like to me. They're like, yeah, bring on the gore. We'll judge it for ourselves. Yeah. So there you go. We're going to take a break. When we come back, it doesn't get any easier for Mallie, that's for sure. We'll talk about a Georgia woman who was killed and dismembered and burned after allegedly finding out her boyfriend was married.
Ooh.
Yeah. Probably shouldn't ask questions.
Yeah, exactly. Just leave.
That's right. Another teacher in the news. This one is sentenced after having sex with a student on a field trip she was chaperoning. We'll talk about that. What is it with teachers these days? Mm-hmm. A Colorado woman was allegedly fatally stabbed and cut off her boyfriend's penis after a fight over paternity. I'm so glad Maury's off the air now.
Right.
Right. And we'll wrap it up today with a story about jetliners and what they finally got after 23 years. You'll be surprised as to why you weren't safe all these years.
Great.
And why you finally can breathe easy while flying in the great friendly skies.
Okay.
It's coming up next. This is Ripped from the Headlines right here on True Crime Tuesday. Welcome back to Ripped from the Headlines right here on True Crime Tuesday. I'm Tim Dennis. Right over there is your co-host, Mallie Fox. Our next story, Mallie, has to do with a Georgia woman who was killed, dismembered, and burned after allegedly finding out her boyfriend was married. Probably not the time to bring up confrontational stuff, right?
Exactly, yeah.
You probably would just want to say, it's okay, dear. We could probably still continue, especially if he's a little angry. Or do you just say, maybe we agree to disagree and go our separate ways, right?
Or you can just ghost him and just block everything. Except if he knows where you live, though, you might be screwed. Yeah, that's true. I don't know how you handle that in order to not get him angry. I don't know. We go to Clayton County, Georgia, where a 23-year-old missing woman's boyfriend is charged with murder after her dismembered and burned remains were discovered in 2 different locations in Tennessee last week. Boy, he went the extra mile, didn't he? Yeah. Didn't leave it in the same area.
Yeah. Brianna Winston was reported missing to the Clayton County Police Department on April 1st after her family became concerned that she had not been seen or heard from since March 16th. Relatives went to her apartment and saw that it had been completely cleaned out by Michael Edwards, her live-in boyfriend and father of her child. The family also learned that she did not show up to work on March 17th. Clayton County Police said Winston's disappearance was exceptionally suspicious in nature, and they had reason to believe that she was deceased. The missing person case transitioned into a homicide investigation at that point. According to Clayton County Police Lieutenant Ashanti Marbury, investigators traveled to Tennessee on May 6th after receiving information that Winston's remains could be located there. They met with a man on May 7th who initially would not provide details to police, but Marbury said investigators presented him with a proffer, meaning he would be immune from charges. That'll help find the person, that's for
right. Sure. So you said it was her family that called the cops saying she was missing, not her live-in boyfriend / possible murderer?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, well, there's your sign right there. If he's not calling the police because she's missing,
Yeah. Yep.
Then right there, that's a sure sign.
The man, who was not publicly identified, told police that Edwards went to Winston's apartment on March 17th, and the two argued about Edwards' infidelity. Marbury said Edwards secretly wed Brianna Phillips Edwards in January, and Winston reportedly found out about it. Edwards allegedly choked Winston during the fight, killing her. He then put her body in a suitcase and went to another location where he and the witness burned her remains in a barrel. So that's how he knew. Yikes. Marbury said the two men covered her body in accelerant, lit it on fire, and kept the flames going until she was just skeletal remains. How can somebody be so inhumane?
I was thinking, how can he sleep knowing that he was a participant in a murder?
Yeah. I don't get some people. After Edwards allegedly took some of the remains to drop off on the side of the highway, while the other man disposed of the rest of the remains in a cemetery. Edwards was arrested in April on a charge of aggravated stalking, but investigators say he reportedly spoke with Phillips Edwards on the phone from jail and allegedly asked her to burn a pair of shoes and gloves. Edwards' mother and brother allegedly assisted in destroying the items.
Oh,
the whole family's in on it.
Exactly.
Edwards is now charged with aggravated assault, malice murder, felony murder, and tampering with evidence. His mother and brother are charged with a conspiracy to tamper with evidence. There's a warrant for Phillips Edwards' arrest because she allegedly let him use her car to drive to Tennessee and was well aware of her whereabouts on March 17th. It turned into a family affair, Marbury said. He definitely looped everyone into this crime. It's kind of sick.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just to have everybody in on the deal is ick. Let's move on. Speaking of ick, we go to Bryant, Arkansas, where a 33-year-old former teacher will spend more than a decade in federal prison for engaging in sexual relations with a minor between 20 to 30 times.
Oh.
Yeah, 20 to 30 times, Matt.
Good God.
The U.S. Attorney's Office for the Eastern District of Arkansas announced on May 15th that a judge sentenced Heather Hare to 13 years for transporting a minor across state lines for the purpose of unlawful sexual activity, as well as a lifetime of supervised release. Hare pleaded guilty to the charge in January. According to prosecutors, Hare, who taught family consumer science classes at Bryant High School, met the minor victim when he was a senior, and they began one-on-one counseling sessions. Hare reportedly gave the minor her personal number, and she communicated with him via Instagram and Snapchat. According to the attorney's office, Hare told the minor she had a dream of them having sex and gave him her address. That's how it always starts with a teacher, doesn't it?
My good God.
They engaged in sexual relations around 20 to 30 times during the 2021-22 school year. Hare and the minor reportedly had sex at the defendant's home, in her car, and even in her classroom and to the high school parking lots. Is it really at that point a fantasy, or is it at that point a perversion?
I don't know, but he didn't keep his mouth shut. He probably was bragging to all of his friends.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
There's got to be something wrong with her mentally and her environment where the only way she can get it is with a minor.
I honestly think, I don't know, with women, do you think it's that they haven't matured past that age, past the high school age?
I don't know. Usually, though, women are mature much more. I don't know. There's something wrong with her, though.
In April of 2022, prosecutors said Hare had sex with the minor while chaperoning a field trip to Washington, D.C. as part of her classes. The victim was reportedly the only male on the field trip, which included several students. See, to me, that says element of danger. Mm-hmm. And there being a certain thrill there.
Well, yeah, there's got to be some type of thrill if she's having sex in the parking lot and on a field trip. I mean, where there is a chance that they could get caught.
Yeah. I don't know. It reeks of immaturity. And
yes.
Yeah. And almost like a stunted growth, a stunted maturity, a stunted growth. That's the only thing I can think of as far as psychologically. 2 stories left here and ripped from the headlines. A Colorado woman allegedly fatally stabbed, cut her boyfriend's penis off during a fight over paternity.
Another bobbit.
I don't think that's how you test for DNA. As far as, yeah, I think you can just basically get a swab from the cheek. You don't need blood evidence to figure that out. Police arrested a 32-year-old woman for allegedly cutting off her boyfriend's penis and stabbing him during an argument about whether he was the father of her child. There's easier ways to go about it, kids. According to Grand Junction Police, on Tuesday, May 14th at 8:50 p.m., police were called to a location on Market Street regarding an unresponsive male with a suspected knife wound. Oh, there was a knife wound. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Ooh, it was a deep knife wound.
Oh, he didn't survive.
No.
Oh, I thought he survived.
Oh, no, you bleed quite quickly from there.
Yeah, but Bobbit survived. He had his penis cut off.
Yeah, but he might have applied pressure. I'm just saying it's a, you know. I don't mean to joke about it, but, you know, I mean, just saying. The other knife wound might have been a fatal one, too.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. An affidavit cited by the Grand Junction Daily Sentinel says that Shiteng Guo was the suspect and arrested on a charge of second-degree murder while in the heat of passion and domestic violence. They say Guo told police that the victim was her boyfriend and she believed she was pregnant. They reportedly got into a dispute about the paternity and she stabbed him in the leg. Ah, she hit an artery.
Oh.
Yep. Yeah. The affidavit reportedly says that Guo said she was not trying to kill him, but admitted to stabbing him because she was so angry. Then she allegedly cut off his penis, just right like that. Vegematic. According to the Grand Junction Daily Sentinel, Guo did not think the victim was in pain, but she went to a store and purchased some rubbing alcohol, beer, and medicine. Oh, she went off the deep end. Rubbing alcohol?
Right.
Beer? All alcohol does is make the bleeding go faster.
And it stings like a son of a gun.
Yeah. Later that day, the victim reportedly said he was cold and believed he was going to die. She fed him Propel water, greens, and Advil, and he died soon after.
So he survived the initial stab and cutting off the member.
Yeah, but he was getting cold. It's a big hint.
Yeah.
Probably need to go to the hospital.
Yeah. Dang.
Yeah. But she's like, no, you're fine. Here's some Propel water, some greens, and some Advil. You're gonna live, buddy.
Get your electrolytes.
You gotta live. You got a child on the way. Jeez.
Dang.
Oh my God. Ladies, here's a little tip. If you're going to cut off your hubby or your boyfriend's member, probably get him into the doctor. Just saying. You probably shouldn't do it anyways.
Correct.
Yeah. Especially if you're looking to have kid number 2. But if you do decide to make that move, get him in. Yeah. Especially if you want him to live.
Right.
Yeah. The stab in the leg doesn't hurt either. To probably get that sewn up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. A lot of vital arteries and pathways in that leg. That'll bleed out quickly. Mm-hmm. Just saying. I don't mean to laugh at this guy's plight, but I'm just saying that this woman wasn't too bright.
No.
All right, Mallie. Finally, and ripped from the headlines today, the story that will absolutely make you think twice about why you flew for the last 23 years.
Okay.
Now, on that tragic day of 9/11, the terrorists were able to get into the cockpit and take over planes for one reason and one reason only. There were no safety doors that kept them from getting into the cockpit.
Correct.
Right. Now, there was the wife of one of the pilots that for 23 years was lobbying to get these doors attached to the cockpit. I'm about to tell you a story that will totally unnerve you.
Before 9/11, she was lobbying for the doors?
No, afterwards.
Okay.
Afterwards. Her husband was one of the pilots that died in 9/11. But there's something very, very unnerving that happened.
Okay.
And it was only this past week that legislation passed to get those safety doors put in place. We haven't had them for 23 years.
I thought we did, because you can't access unless they let you in.
Oh, no. You could get in.
Oh, I thought you couldn't anymore.
Oh, you could. Yep.
Oh, I just thought it was kept locked.
Nope. Nearly 23 years after 9/11, a critical flaw that helped terrorists storm the cockpits of 4 jetliners, kill the pilots, and turn the planes into weapons of mass murder is finally being corrected. President Joe Biden on Thursday signed into law provisions requiring secondary cockpit barriers on all commercial airplanes. The last of the 9/11 Commission's recommendations yet to be implemented. The lightweight lockable metal gates, long opposed by the airline industry because of their added cost of roughly $35,000 a pop.
They have the money.
That's the only reason they weren't put in place, Mallie.
Oh, geez.
Barricade cockpit doors to protect pilots while they open them in flight to use the restroom or receive food. That's why they weren't put in place. The pilots, by the way, were against it as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I guess I wore down Congress enough that they were tired of me, said Ellen Saracini, who is the widow of Captain Victor Saracini, who was a pilot on the doomed United Flight 175, which was hijacked and smashed into the World Trade Center South Tower. The airlines have had great lobbying efforts against this over the years, and I think they thought the little widow was going home in 2 weeks, but I decided not to, she told the New York Post. It's been a lot of work, a lot of years, but my commitment was to never let this happen again, added Saracini. Victor didn't die in vain. The changes won't happen overnight, however, so it's not like they got installed overnight. Mm-hmm. It may take 3 to 5 years for the airlines to retrofit roughly 8,000 airplanes with the new barriers because of the slow federal bureaucracy. Biden ratified the provisions by signing off on a larger 5-year, $105 billion civil aviation bill aimed at improving air travel. It was approved 387 to 26 by the House of Representatives on Wednesday and 88 to 4 a week earlier by the U.S. Senate. The amendment is a critical step to help prevent 9/11 from ever happening again, said Representative Josh Gottheimer, who is a Democrat from New Jersey, who, along with Representative Brian Fitzpatrick, who's a Republican from Pennsylvania, added the provision requiring secondary cockpit barriers. Both in 2018 helped sign into law the Saracini Aviation Safety Act, which was named after the late pilot, which required secondary barriers on newly built planes, but not existing aircraft. The hijackers sent by al-Qaeda leader Osama bin Laden brought down 4 planes on September 11th of 2001, 2 crashing into the World Trade Center, 1 into the Pentagon, 1 into a field in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, after brave passengers fought to wrest control before it could reach the White House or the U.S. Capitol. Victor Saracini, who was only 51 at the time, was the father of 2 young daughters when he perished. In view of the high numbers of recent unruly passenger incidents and the increased threat posture due to the Israeli-Hamas war, this long overdue protection against cockpit intrusions is certainly welcome, said former Federal Aviation Administration Special Agent Brian Sullivan. No longer will flight attendants be forced to block the cockpit with their little beverage cart, a method that provided about 3 seconds of additional protection and put the flight attendants at risk, he said. I want you to think about that for a second. That was the only thing keeping the pilots from having the aircraft overrun, a beverage cart.
I just thought they locked the doors from inside and you couldn't get to it.
Nope.
Oh.
Pretty unnerving, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Angelo Rofaro, who is a spokesman for Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, said the tragedy of 9/11 showed improvements were needed in both airport security and planes themselves, but the new rule will mark an additional and critical safety measure, and it's now complete. Representative Nicole Maliotakis, a Republican from Staten Island and Brooklyn, said it's still not enough. It's an important measure in preventing hijacks, but we also need more stringent regulations when issuing government IDs to stop illegal immigrants from boarding airplanes with arrest warrants as their sole identification, as the Transportation Security Administration has admitted is occurring, said Maliotakis. We need to take any and all precautions to ensure that a terrorist does not exploit the Biden administration's tax policies, is what Maliotakis went on to say. But yes, so there is now a barrier, or there will now be a barrier within the next 3 to 5 years between the pilot and the general public. So you could travel a little bit safer. I was completely unnerved when I saw that story.
Yeah, I had no idea.
I hadn't until I read that story.
Yeah, I thought they made changes right after 9/11.
Yeah, evidently not. Evidently not. With that, let's take a deep breath, unclench, and it's time now for Dumb Crimes and Stupid Criminals.
It's Crayon News story time.
What happened with this dude, Christ Bearer? I heard he cut his penis off and then jumped off a balcony.
Suspect pulls gun from butt, shoots twice at Denver police.
What is your emergency?
I need help.
And what's the problem?
I'm too high.
You're too high?
Yeah.
That's right. It's the time you've all been looking forward to. It's time now for Dumb Crimes and Stupid Criminals. We don't need to reintroduce Mallie Fox, although we'd like to, but we won't.
Nah, I'm all good.
But let's jump right back into it. Did you hear the story in New York about a week or two ago of Steve Buscemi, the actor and director, being punched out randomly?
Yep. Well, and I know it's happening to a lot of girls, too, in New York City.
Yeah, it's this weird deal. And, you know, years ago, they had this weird punch-out game where people would punch out people randomly. Mm-hmm. It turns out that the person or the man who punched out Steve Buscemi has been caught.
They did catch him?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they had pretty good pictures of him.
Yeah, they did.
Like the CCTV, or what is it, CCTV?
Yes, the CCTV.
The cameras, yeah.
The original picture of the guy, he looked like he might be, I don't know, kind of an average guy, but he's a homeless man who's accused of randomly punching Steve Buscemi. He was sent to jail on $50,000 bail. Now, the homeless attacker who slugged Boardwalk Empire actor Steve Buscemi in the eye was sent to jail on $50,000 cash bail, at his arraignment on Saturday. Clifton Williams has been accused of walking up to the 66-year-old actor on 3rd Avenue in Kips Bay at 11:39 a.m. on May 8th and randomly punching the actor before casually walking away. Buscemi fell to the ground and suffered bleeding to his eye, swelling, bruising, and substantial pain, according to a criminal complaint filed against Williams. The 50-year-old Williams was hit with a felony count of second-degree assault because Buscemi is over 65. He was also charged with misdemeanor assault for allegedly attacking a 22-year-old Asian man 10 minutes before attacking the Fargo star. The suspect has significant criminal history in both Kentucky and Florida, spanning many years, including assaults and other crimes of violence, according to Manhattan Assistant District Attorney Elizabeth Berry, who said during the proceeding in Manhattan Criminal Court. Williams has been in New York for less than a month, she added, requesting $100,000 bail at the time, but didn't successfully get it. Judge Marisol Martinez Alonso sent Williams, who stands 6 feet 2 inches and weighs 197 pounds, to Rikers Island Jail on $50,000 cash or $150,000 bond. The NYPD identified him from surveillance footage near the site of the attack and had been scouring the city for him, including at a Brooklyn homeless shelter believed to be his last known address. When cops confronted Williams with the surveillance photo, he admitted that he was the man in the photo and copped to both assaults. Williams was clad in black jeans, a black long-sleeve sweatshirt, and gray high-top shoes and said, "Yes, Your Honor," in a very loud and clear voice during his court appearance. In addition to the two May 8th attacks, another man claimed to the Post that Williams tried to punch him and threatened to kill him at around 12:30 on Friday, the same day that he was arrested. Plumber Mark Belly said the encounter occurred at 260 11th Avenue, where Belly works. "He threw a punch at me," the 54-year-old said. "I ducked it. He went to kick me and his shoe came off. I took a picture of him because he was chasing me," he said. He also went on to say, "If I catch you, I'm going to kill you." Belly said Williams has been living in a cardboard box right around the corner from the building and that he was angry someone took his box. Oh, that'll happen. I mean, cardboard boxes are in short supply in New York, aren't they? Belly, whose account could not be immediately confirmed, believes the city took it while doing a sweep of homeless people. He said he snapped a photo of Williams and called 911 to report the harassment. It was told to file a report, which he intends to do. Even though the guy's dangerous, they still kind of blew him off, didn't they? They're like, file a report. You know, but they got him. They got the guy who punched Steve Buscemi.
Because I know that there have been a few girls, excuse me, that have been attacked, but they said that they were not paying attention to their environment, that they were either like FaceTiming or they were making TikToks or whatever.
Yeah.
And there were a couple of angry men that came and hit him in the face or in the back of the head.
Yeah. It's I don't know. Whether it's a stupid game or whether it's someone who's mentally ill, who's throwing punches and threatening to kill people, it's still a dangerous thing.
Right.
That's for sure. That's for sure. This next story has to do with a Tennessee couple transporting $3 million in suspected cocaine. They were killed in a shootout with authorities in Texas. We got to thank Tony for this story. As a Tennessee couple was found transporting millions of dollars worth of cocaine, they were killed in Texas on Thursday during a traffic stop. They had a little shootout with law enforcement. Just a little one. Just a tiny one. Edward and Elizabeth Stevenson were first identified through undercover buys of illegal drugs, according to the Putnam County Sheriff's Office. The undercover work allowed investigators to get a search warrant for the Stevensons' home, where detectives uncovered nearly a pound of suspected methamphetamine, suspected fentanyl, multiple firearms, body armor, and ammunition on Thursday, Mallie.
Ooh, Lordy.
Now, I'm going to show you a picture of the Stevensons, and you tell me, do they look like they got that kind of firepower at the house?
Nope.
Don't they look like Mr. and Mrs. GQ Public to you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They look like they live in a little small town.
Yeah, don't they? They look like...
in the grocery store.
Yeah, they own the grocery store, right? Yeah, they look like... They look like, gee, Willikers, could we invite you over for a little barbecue later? Don't they? They're kind of like... Yeah. Yeah. You want to come on over later? We could have a couple of drinks and sit around and talk about the Timberwolves victory. You know, that was a pretty good one over the Nuggets, wasn't it? You kind of have those kind of faces. During the search, detectives learned that the Stevensons were driving a semi-truck through Texas with illegal drugs and were armed. This guy, the husband, does not look like a guy who's armed and ready for war.
That's probably, they've probably done this before and gotten away with it because they don't look like criminals.
That's true, yeah. Both Edward and Elizabeth had made previous statements that they would die by suicide by cop if law enforcement attempted to stop them.
Oh, my.
Do they look like suicide by cop people?
Nope.
No. They look like suicide by hamburger people. I'll eat a whole 2-pound hamburger and die by a busted belly if I gotta. Detectives immediately alerted the Donley County Sheriff's Office in Texas about the couple. When deputies in Donley County tried to pull over the semi-truck, the couple continued to drive for several miles before coming to a stop. Edward and Elizabeth then exited the vehicle and opened fire on deputies and troopers. God. The Stevensons were killed in the ensuing shootout. Authorities searched the couple's vehicle and found about 64 pounds of suspected cocaine, valued at an estimated $3.4 million, the sheriff's office said. They also said the drugs appeared to be en route to Tennessee. Putnam County Sheriff Eddie Ferris blamed open border policies that are making it much easier for Mexican cartel members and their associates to traffic illegal drugs into smaller communities. Ferris said the cocaine seized from the Stevensons would likely have been mixed with fentanyl before being sold to individuals. The sheriff thanked community members for calling in anonymous tips about the couple. Anytime you see anything you feel suspicious, please call us and we'll investigate it, Ferris said. In this particular incident, it most likely saved lives. Yeah, but you don't think that Mr. and Mrs., Stevenson, who looked like they probably would invite you over either to, I don't know, have a ham sandwich or swing with you, one or the other. would
Some tater tot hot dish.
Tater tot hot dish, and to talk a little bit about the wild, the wild game last night. Would be loaded for bear and wanting to shoot you over a few tons of coke.
Yeah.
They don't look like that couple. It's totally, it's unnerving. Mm-hmm. I tell you what, to show you how unnerving it is, I'm going to post this in the description of the program so you can see just how unnerving it is. Because they don't look like killers.
Nope.
Not at all. Mm-mm. Yeah. Speaking of hardly being what you think it is, an entire district in South St. Louis has seen crime fall to almost nothing with one arrest.
Okay.
Turns out that burglaries have plummeted to almost zero in a South St. Louis district since the arrest of one man facing hundreds of theft charges.
Wow.
Yeah. How did it happen? Well, here's how it happened, Mallie. A month after a Jefferson County man was charged with a string of St. Louis burglaries, he now faces hundreds of additional related charges of theft across a wide swath of the city's south side. 36-year-old Gage Lutman was charged with 3 burglaries earlier this year. St. Louis police said he was the main suspect in 25 others. Prosecutors on Friday filed 252 more charges against Lutman, including property damage, burglary, stealing, and tampering with vehicles. Lutman was accused of breaking into businesses, garages, and basements, and cutting the locks on hundreds of storage units over 7 months. He used stolen vehicles to commit many of the crimes, police said. All of the charges filed on Friday stem from burglaries in South St. Louis, with the majority of the thefts targeting Devon Self-Storage on South Kings Highway Boulevard, Life Storage on Manchester Avenue, Metro Storage Express, and Public Storage on McCausland Avenue. Stolen items included tools, lawn equipment, electronics, jewelry, guns, and vehicles. On April 2nd, police executed a search warrant at his home on the 2700 block of Hermitage Avenue when they arrested Lutman and 2 others and recovered stolen items worth thousands of dollars. Police posted photos of more than 100 of the items in hopes that the owners would recognize their belongings. Man, can you imagine the Pandora's box they opened when they did that? Since his arrest and confinement, storage units and garage burglaries have plummeted in the 2nd District, police said in a probable cause statement. He also has pending cases against him out of St. Louis County and St. Charles County, police said. Lutman was booked April 2nd at the St. Louis City Justice Center, where he remained without bond as of Friday. That's a remarkable story. One guy, 300 cases.
Yep.
Just goes to show you that sometimes you don't know what you have in hand when you have it. We go from one of the most prolific robbers and stealers of St. Louis to 2 of the most worthless robbers in Fort Worth, Texas history.
Okay.
It's quite the swing, Mal. We're going to Fort Worth, Texas, where 2 men steal cases of Bud Light beer at gunpoint from a Fort Worth gas station. Of all the things to steal.
Right.
If you're going to steal beer, Mallie, what kind of beer are you stealing?
Well, considering I don't really drink beer, it would either be Heineken or Rolling Rock.
See?
What I usually drink.
Go for the good stuff. Mm-hmm. Right? I mean, even if you're stealing for another beer drinker.
Right.
Maybe Guinness. I don't know.
Yeah.
Go for something, that's got a frothy head to it. I don't know. Something. Right? Well, police said they got away with an older model, dark-colored Toyota Corolla as well with a Michael Jordan sticker on the back window. At least they got something with value, right? I mean, come on, right? I mean, because the Bud Light was worth about, what, $2.50?
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't worth much.
Watered down, yeah.
That's right. Might as well have stolen a couple of bottles of Aquafina out of the fridge. I mean, that's for what you got.
Some energy drinks.
Yeah, right. Might as well grab some Coke out of the fridge. It was worth more. Fort Worth police are searching for 2 men caught on camera stealing 3 cases of beer at gunpoint, if you want to call it that, from a gas station. The department tweeted a video of the suspects walking into the gas station in the 9800 block of White Settlement Road. Who do you think settled the road, Mallie? Probably the whites.
Jeez, that was bad.
Just saying. The robbery took place at around 1:15 a.m. on May 14th. The surveillance video shows them each grabbing 2 12-packs of Bud Light beer from the cooler. I think they were blind robbers, Mallie. I give myself one of those. I'm talking in pirate now. As they walk around the front door or toward the front door, one of the suspects pulls a handgun from his shorts, aiming it at the store clerk. Says, "Don't you dare move. We've got the most valuable thing you have in this store, Bud Light." I made that part up. Of course I did. The armed man drops 1 case of beer before running out the front door without paying. The suspect then goes, "Oh, shoot, I dropped Bud Light. Whatever will I do now? Oh, darn." So he dropped what, $3.50 worth of beer? Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, it's no biggie. The second suspect follows as the getaway car with a covered license plate awaits outside. You know why the license plate was covered, Mallie? Because they were stealing Bud Light. How shameful is that? I mean, really. Police said they left an older model, dark-colored Toyota Corolla with a Michael Jordan sticker on the back window, which identifies the car as being about, from 1984. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Suspect 1 is a Hispanic male wearing gray shorts, black sweatshirt, and a black ball cap. Suspect 2, they say, is a Hispanic male wearing tan shorts, black hoodie, black sandals, and a black ball cap. Both suspects, terrible taste in beer. Just saying. Mm-hmm. Mallie's getting tired of the beer jokes. If you have any information about these suspects' whereabouts or identity, you're asked to call Detective Olson at 817-392-4377. Detective Olson says bring a better type of beer with you. Tipsters can also remain anonymous by calling Crime Stoppers of Tarrant County at 817-469-8477. Also, bring a better type of beer when you do so. We're going to Iowa, Mallie. Probably because you're being punished. I don't know why we're going to Iowa. Where supposedly the world's tallest man was arrested.
Oh.
And here's a lark. He's from Minnesota.
Oh.
Or at least
not surprised.
What? You're not surprised?
Yeah.
Or at least he has a Minnesota ID. That's why I love this story. Well, world's tallest man's from Minnesota. Here's what he looks like, by the way. I'm going to give you a little shot of him right here. There he is.
Oh.
He
doesn't look like he would be that tall.
No, he looks like he's probably about 5'8", right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
He doesn't. His face.
I was thinking like Scandinavian, kind of, blonde hair, blue eyes.
Right. Yeah. You would think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He doesn't have a Scandinavian name either. An intoxicated motorist who was pulled over for driving erratically on an Iowa road provided police with a state ID card that advised that the defendant was 8 feet tall. I think it was doctor.
Yeah, just a tiny bit.
Yeah, 8 feet tall and bulletproof. Investigators say that Joel Solorzano Vieta, it may be, who's all of 33 years old, was behind the wheel of a 2016 Ford Focus. First of all, how's he 8 feet tall and driving a Focus? That's what I want to know.
I was just thinking that. I'm like, of all cars, it's going to be a Focus.
Yeah, no one 8 feet tall is driving a Focus.
Right.
It's not happening.
It's got to be a typo.
By the way, that Focus was all over the road on Sunday as the vehicle traveled in the city of Rock Rapids. During a subsequent police stop, police charged that Solorzano Valeda showed several signs of intoxication and had an open can of beer in his car and possessed methamphetamine, Mallie, which may be why he feels 8 feet tall.
Right.
Just saying. A portable breath test returned an over the per se limit result. When asked for identification, Solorzano Valeda gave police a Minnesota ID card, which doesn't pass for a driver's license. A computer check of the name and number on the ID that Solorzano Valeda provided turned up no return. There's a shock, which probably came as little surprise to the police, who noticed that the phony ID advised that the defendant was 8 feet tall. Solorzano Valeda, who is actually 5'8", I called it.
You did.
Yeah.
I was like, he doesn't look like he'd be that tall.
No.
He looks kind of stocky from his photo.
Yeah, he is. Was arrested on several charges, including narcotics possession, operating a vehicle while intoxicated, and providing cops with a false ID. Because nobody 8 feet tall drives a Focus. Just
should have called himself like McLovin or something on the
right
on the license. If you're going to go with 8 feet, let's add some more nonsense.
Andre the Giant would have been a good one. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Paul Bunyan.
Paul Bunyan. That's a good. Yes, Mallie, if you're coming from Minnesota.
Yep.
Paul Bunyan. That would have been a good one. Yeah. Additionally, a warrant check showed that he was wanted in another Iowa county for failure to appear in court on an earlier OWI rap. OWI. Obese while intoxicated? I don't know.
Stop.
I mean, come on. He is a little chunky. Yeah. Solorzano Valeda, who lives in Little Rock, Iowa, is currently locked up in the Lyon County Jail in advance of a May 23rd court hearing. Yeah, he's only 5'8", but he took the 8 literally and went for 8 feet.
Yep.
Yeah. See what he did there?
He had a short man complex.
Boy, did he ever. It's kind of nice. Kind of nice that he can dream. Mm-hmm. You gotta.
Hey, if you're gonna dream big.
See what you did there? I like what you did there. That's kind of neat. Who says that being a Walmart greeter isn't a tough job?
Oh, I'm sure they're harassed every day.
Oh,
poor people.
They gotta be. You know, I hear it from a lot of people. Oh, they get to sit now. They don't have to stand the entire time. Oh, you know, they gotta be cheery. There's plenty about being a Walmart greeter that's tough. And one of those things, Mallie, is eventually somebody gets their Irish up and they decide that they want to take on a Walmart greeter and, you know, they want to get physical.
Oh.
That's what happened in this case. This Walmart greeter was beaten in a Walmart receipt beef. Poor person. A woman goaded her boyfriend into taking care of a 68-year-old Walmart greeter.
Oh.
That's not very nice. An elderly Walmart greeter suffered injuries to his face and head after being punched in the eye by a North Carolina man whose girlfriend was angry that she had been asked to show her receipt. Well, isn't that the deal?
I think you have to show a receipt everywhere. Like Costco, you got to show a receipt.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you've got any amount of stuff with you, you should probably show your receipt. Be ready to show your receipt.
It takes 2 seconds to do it. I don't know why people get up in arms.
And they don't even really check it. They just look at the
I know,
receipt
exactly. They're kind of like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, it looks like that's what you got. Have a good day. You know, I mean, they don't even really seriously check it.
Well, and especially if Walmart and Target, aren't they having like a high rate of theft?
Yes.
So that's probably one of the reasons why they're checking your receipt. Not saying you're guilty, but just as a precaution.
Right.
They're doing it to everyone.
And even if you're taking something, half the time they can't stop you.
Yeah, that's true too.
I mean, it's no big deal. 68-year-old Vincent Battaglia told cops that he was checking receipts yesterday at an entrance to the Walmart Supercenter in High Point when he was confronted by a man who was upset that Battaglia had stopped his girlfriend earlier at the exit. The Walmart employee advised that he was just doing his job, according to a police report. That is when 28-year-old Tamisha Robbs allegedly began yelling at her boyfriend to take care of him in response to the goading. Yeah, she's a peach. She's a treasure. 27-year-old Trevor Waden then punched the elderly victim in his left eye, which caused him to fall to the ground and strike his head. The couple fled the store without offering aid to the victim, who had injuries to his face and head. Investigators who were familiar with Robbs and Waden from previous calls.
That's why, because they have a past of doing something wrong.
Yep, not their first go-around at Walmart. Subsequently arrested the pair at their High Point residence, which is a few miles from the Walmart. Robbs and Waden were each charged with misdemeanor assault, while Waden was also cited for failure to appear in court with connection of with a separate criminal matter. Court records describe Robbs as unemployed, while the 240-pound Waden is identified as a cook for East Coast Wings and Grill. Evidently, he was serving up punches that day, if you know what I mean. Just saying. By the way, if this woman told you to punch out a guy, do you think that that's the first thing you're doing? She's a looker, isn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah. She looks
like she's been in trouble.
Yeah. Yeah. She wears her hair straight up like Frankenstein's bride.
Yeah, it's a big poof.
Yeah, she's a looker. She's a looker.
She just looks mean. She looks like she's a bully.
He's no prize either.
No, but she looks like she's a bully.
Yeah, she does look like she's a bully, doesn't she?
Oh, but is the guy okay? The older gentleman?
I believe he is. I think he's just a little worse for wear. I think he's just been, he's
poor
just
guy.
been knocked around a little. So
we had this greeter at the grocery store, and I mean, he was a legend. Everyone knew who he was because he worked almost like every day. And he would be always like, "Hi, welcome to Wire," blah blah blah. And then if you ever like interrupted his rhythm, it would throw him off. Be like, "Hey, how are you?" He'd be like, because he just had, you'd hear the same thing over and over and over again. Super nice guy, though. But yeah, once in a while, you just want to be like, "Hey, how you doing?" And he'd be like, he wouldn't know what to say.
It's like, where was I again?
Yeah. He retired, and everyone thought that he was let go because it was right after COVID.
Oh, no.
Yeah, but he wasn't. He retired, but people were like trying to do a GoFundMe and stuff to get the guy back. And he's like, "No, I'm retired."
I'm not coming back from nothing.
Yeah. I mean, he was pretty old, but he's nice.
You people can't make me.
Yep.
Oh, poor guy. Oh. Just a couple stories left here on Dumb Crime, Stupid Criminals today. If you're going to batter somebody, it's kind of hard to get a good punch with a soiled diaper. I don't know if you
Ew.
I'm just saying.
Gross.
Well, sometimes we got to talk facts on this show, Mallie. I mean,
this is an adult wearing a soiled diaper?
Yeah.
Ew.
Just saying.
I got so grossed out the other day because there was one on the ground, and I was like, like I have a really bad gag reflex, and I was just going to town. Like my face was beet red because it was like, oh God, I'm starting to do it right now thinking about it. But yeah, it was right on the ground. Like someone just like threw it there instead of the garbage can.
Like they were like, all done, and then they just dropped it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the cutest thing ever.
Oh my God, I'm trying not to think about it right now. I don't even know why I brought it up. I'm gonna start gagging any second now. It makes Derek laugh because I have the worst gag reaction whenever my dogs throw up or they take a crap inside the house or like brushing teeth. Just the thought of it, like hitting the back of the tongue, I start to gag and I can't stop, and then I start crying and my face turns bright red.
It's making me laugh. Just you going blah, blah.
Oh my God, it doesn't stop. It's just, oh my God. And Derek just thinks it's hilarious because he's got to deal with icky stuff all the time for being a firefighter. But I guess. Okay, rainbows.
Rainbows and lollipops and unicorns. And not the unicorns with the dildo on their head, but, you know.
Oh,
the other
Jesus.
unicorns. Yeah. But
I forgot about that from last week.
sorry about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, anyways, so this man try to go la through this story as I read it.
Thank you.
This man was busted for battery with a soiled diaper. The diaper remnants were found on the victim's torso, evidently according to the police report. By the way, I'm going to show you a picture of Mr.
He's not in the diaper, is he?
Well, he's
Oh my
in the.
God! Oh, but there's a diaper ad right next to it.
there's a little picture
Or
for
is
a
it
fact.
kids?
I think that's an actual adult, but I think it's.
Is it?
I think so.
It's got flowers on it.
It does. Well, have you ever seen some of the adult diapers? They're quite pretty.
Not really.
I'm just kidding. They're quite pretty. Actually, I was in line at the old Wally Mart last night, and there's a guy getting diapers. I thought, oh, those aren't bad looking.
Was he older?
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a senior. Yeah.
Oh.
But I was looking at the package, and I thought, because I think sometimes as I'm standing in line at different places, sometimes I think I'm staring headlong into the abyss. And I know this is a cheery outlook, but as I'm looking at this older gentleman who's checking out, he had some sharp teeth items that he was buying, for groceries, and others not so sharp, like when he has his teeth out. So he had, tapioca pudding, and he had a steak. So I'm like, oh, good teeth days, bad teeth days, right? And then he had some adult diapers there. And of course, we're all going to get older. We're all going to have incontinence issues. It's not a big deal, right? But I thought, oh, that one's got patterns. I'm like, I'm doing I'm letting my stream of consciousness wander. I was like, oh, that's got patterns. Oh, that's kind of cute. I don't know why I went into that stream of consciousness, but I did. I was like, you know what? I hope when I get to that age, when I'm soiling myself, that they have, I don't know, that they have like superhero patterns on them.
Right.
I'd like to have, like little superhero patterns.
Like the what is it? The bat, for Batman, when they put the bat in the air, the bat signal.
Yeah. Like
have those. They're underoos.
Yeah, like underoos, but maybe they'll call them diaperoos. I don't know, but I'm hoping they have those. Yeah, that'd be sweet.
Anyway, I can dream.
A guy can dream, right? I'm just hoping somebody gets smart by the time I get to that age, which would probably be next year. I don't know, but I'm just hoping they get there. Anyway. So diaper remnants is what were found on the scene. You can add a soiled diaper, an adult diaper at that, to the long list of strange items used as weapons during alleged batteries in the free state of Florida. That's right. Of course. We're going to Florida. After responding early this past weekend to a reported domestic battery in St. Petersburg, cops gave this account of the alleged incident. They said the defendant threw a diaper at the victim, striking him in the center of the torso. The diaper contained, Mallie, get ready for your gag reflex, urine and other feces. Thank you very much. Investigators say that the confrontation began when 18-year-old Damian Caston began arguing with his brother about ongoing domestic issues. Caston, cops reported, is paralyzed, but ambulatory by using his upper body. After Caston damaged walls inside the home, he allegedly became aggressive toward his sibling and a witness and attempted to throw items at them. At that point, Caston's brother and the witness lifted and carried the defendant outside for the safety of all and dialed 911. You can't make it up. It's Florida. Caston then allegedly removed his soiled diaper and threw it at his brother, striking him in the chest. Remnants of the diaper were seen on the front porch and on the stomach of the victim, a police officer then noted. No weapon was seized by police, according to an arrest affidavit. Charged with domestic battery, a misdemeanor, Caston was booked into the county jail, from which he was released Tuesday afternoon on his own recognizance. A judge has ordered Caston to have no contact with his brother and granted the accused man a one-time visit to his home in the presence of police to retrieve his personal belongings. My guess is the rest of his diapers.
Oh, God.
And clean ones at that. So there you go. And they'll have fun till Caston threw his dirty diaper away.
Oh, Lordy.
There you go. There you go. And finally, today on Dumb Crime, Stupid Criminals, as if that wasn't not safe for work enough for you. Kids, it's time for you to leave the room. It's time for you to turn this down. If you're at work, turn it down. You don't want the boss to hear. We'll give you 5, 4, 3, 2. Welcome to the whoring business. Where it isn't so safe. That's right. You're taking your life and your very health into your own hands here, Mallie, when you hit the streets and hit the sheets and try to make a living. As it turns out, an Ohio sex worker has had more than 200 clients in her day and at one time, and says she's had those clients while knowing she was HIV positive the entire time.
No.
Yeah. She's calling it a quote-unquote risky business.
Oh.
She put 200 people in danger.
Well, not only them, but then their significant others or their, who they... Yeah.
I just snuck the picture up on the screen for Mallie.
She doesn't look like she would get like 5. She looks like she's on meth.
She does look like she's on meth. Even Alexa responded to that one.
Ooh, but you know what I mean? Not only 200 people, but then those people that they sleep with, and then those people they sleep with. I mean, we could talk up to 1,000, if not more.
If not more, yes.
Dang. But why her?
My guess, like Walmart.
She was free.
Like Walmart, low prices.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah. An Ohio sex worker allegedly had contact with more than 200 clients despite knowing she was HIV positive, and state officials are warning everybody and anybody who engaged in quote-unquote risky business with her to come forward and get tested.
Wow.
I believe
What state is she in?
She's in Ohio. She's all of 30 years old. Her name is Linda. I believe it is Lassesi.
She looks older than that. Life has not been easy to her.
No. She's 30 and she's had contact with at least 211 clients from multiple states in the 2 years since January 1st of 2022.
Dang.
2 years now, which is around when she took an HIV test and learned that she was positive for the potentially deadly virus. Lassesi solicited most of those clients on Market Street in Marietta, a small city in southeast Ohio on the border of West Virginia. Well, that explains something. But the possibly infected people are believed to be spread across the East Coast. The case could stem anywhere from Florida up the East Coast, but there are local individuals that we will be reaching out to. Washington County Sheriff's Office Chief Deputy Mark Warden said in a press conference last week, according to the Parkersburg News and Sentinel, police have been calling through known clients of Lassesi to alert them of the situation, and also are urging anyone who may have had contact with her to reach out to authorities.
Wow.
Yeah. Anybody who may have been with Lassesi is asked to be brutally honest with officials, according to the Marietta and Belpre health departments. The health departments are a judge-free zone with full confidentiality, said Barbara Bradley, who is the health department administrator, adding that relatives of Lassesi's clients and anybody who had sexual contact with them are also vulnerable to the risky business. Lassesi was arrested on May 13th for soliciting sex on Market Street, after which police learned that she is HIV positive and had known for more than 2 years. The next day, She was indicted for engaging in solicitation after an HIV positive test, which is a third-degree felony. Wow. She was still out on the street. Unbelievable. But some people have no shame. They,
Right. But could you imagine you're just like an unsuspecting wife? You had no idea that your husband cheated on you. And then you cheated on you with someone that had AIDS. Oh, Lordy.
Yeah. Yikes, yikes, yikes.
Whew.
Yeah. So that's how we end it today on Dumb Crimes, Stupid Criminals.
Apparently they were doing it in the dark.
Well, it doesn't glow. I mean, that's...
No, but like a lot of times when you pick somebody off the street, well, like I'm talking to you like you have experience.
Yeah, I'm picking up hookers every weekend now. I mean, but nothing like that. But
Well, like on TV shows and stuff, they're always picking them up, and it's nighttime, and they're just kind of doing a little action behind a building in a car.
That's right. Yeah.
You're not seeing.
This episode of Cops is brought to you by, oh my God!
Law and Order.
Yeah, Law and Order SVU. I watch a lot of Law and Order now. I don't know what it is. Thursdays are my nights, but now it's it's on hiatus because the season's over. Yeah,
that's one of the shows I watch to fall asleep.
Really, to fall asleep?
Yeah. Derek makes fun of me because I fall asleep to like true crime, like you name it, 48 Hours, like all that stuff. I'm always like, ooh, relaxation. It just, oh, you know what? I just thought of probably another reason why that lady didn't want to talk to me is because the book I brought with me was called Serial Killers and Psychopaths. That's what I was reading while I was selling maps.
Oh, well, that might have been a little standoffish.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
It's just comforting. Just kind of, I relax when I watch true crime. Derek thinks it's very disturbing. But
probably because he's out there on the streets. He's seeing it all up close, and you're like, oh, how relaxing.
He's probably worried that I'm learning what not to do.
Right.
Get rid of a body.
Yeah. And he's like, honey, what's the lie doing in the closet?
Oh, you know what? So the other day I went to the store super quick, and I was like, I'm going to deep clean my house and my bathroom and blah, blah, blah. So I had like 3 things of bleach, like a bleach spray, like all of these cleaners. And I'm like, I wonder if they think I'm a serial killer. Because I was buying like paper towels, like all of this stuff. And I was like, the things in my cart, yeah, this doesn't look too good. So I put all but one bleach thing back.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's how I think. Just like with cutlery, I need new knives, but I refuse to get rid of mine because I'm so afraid that if I get rid of them, someone's going to use them to do a murder, and then it's going to have my DNA on it.
Oh, I never thought of that.
Yeah, because I want some new knives, and I'm so afraid to get rid of mine because someone's going to use it in a crime.
Yeah. I wonder if there's a way to get that off of there.
Bleach. I need to head back and get some art. But no, I'm serious though, because I really want some more. I want some knives. And I don't want to. I'm just worried that they're going to use my butcher block of knives for a crime. Don't you ever have these thoughts?
No.
Oh.
Actually, that was the first time I ever thought of that. Getting rid of knives. Mm-hmm. I've just always held on to them. Or sharpened them.
Right.
I
know, but I want new colors. I want, instead of black candles, I want a different color. But yeah, I have this, Derek thinks I'm ridiculous, but I'm like, I'm telling you, with my luck, I have the weirdest luck, not worse luck, but just weird luck. Somehow someone would be going through my garbage, taking out my knives and committing a crime.
I don't know how you stop that.
I know. Because I'm sure the cop's not going to believe me.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. If your DNA is there, how do you, I don't know. You know what? If we have law enforcement officers out there, how do you prove it? I'd like to know. Tim@darknessradio.com. Send us an email. Let us know.
Yeah, because I'd have no alibi. They'd be like, well, where were you? In my house. because I don't go anywhere other than to the store to buy bleach. So
that almost sounds like Law and Order from this last week. SVU. They had or not SVU, but I think it was regular Law and Order, where the guy's fingerprint was on the inside of the door of this one woman who was raped. But they figured out that he was a worker at the door manufacturing plant.
Oh.
And that's how his fingerprint got on the inside of the door.
Okay.
And so they disqualified him as a suspect. I don't know.
See, I'm telling you.
Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, but I guess they could figure it out. You know, they could disqualify you as a suspect based on the fact that you own the knives at one time.
Yeah, but they're not going to know that unless it's like in a photo that I owned them.
Start taking photos of you preparing food with all your implements. with
I'm taking all these selfies with the knives in the background.
With date stamps on them so that they know that, yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's all I can think of. Yeah.
Just telling you. It's food for thought.
That's right.
Now I'm freaking out a bunch of people that want new knives.
We've gone off the rails today, that's for sure. But hey, it's all important. It's all important, just in case you never want to get implemented in a crime. That's for sure. That's for sure. Well, Mallie, what you got going on besides trying to not implicate yourself in major crimes?
Right. Nothing much.
No. I don't blame you. I mean, you're busy trying to keep yourself innocent. I understand.
Of crimes I haven't committed.
That's right. That and freaking out people from the museum. I get it.
Yeah.
That's a full-time job right there.
I know. I just realized that's probably why she didn't want to talk to me.
That's okay. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong.
Yeah.
I just want to thank Tim Miley, Lauren Pearl again for the great weekend up at the Palmer. We may talk a little bit about investigation tomorrow, just a little bit. But again, a great weekend. And folks, if you want to still donate to Potographs for Pooches, you can do so, potographsforpooches.com, and send a donation out to them. Be greatly appreciated if you choose to do so. Tomorrow on the big program, Supernatural News, and then Thursday, Mallie. Thursday, the interview to end all interviews.
Oh, is that this week?
That's this week.
Oh.
We're going to talk using spirituality in music, or using spirituality to channel creativity. And we're going to do that with Steve Vai, who is not only a guitar virtuoso, a genius as far as music goes and composition, but also I've got some very unusual questions to ask him, and he answers one of them.
Nice.
I'll give you a hint. I ask him the question, would you like to know what the sound of music sounds like on the other side? Especially music from Eddie Van Halen and Frank Zappa and Jimi Hendrix, and what they're composing right now. He tells me not only does he know what that music sounds like, but he's put it on an album.
Okay.
You'll find out more when you hear the interview. It's an intriguing interview, Mallie.
Very cool.
It's got some heavy stuff on it. And it's good. It's very good. It's a very good interview. I think you guys are going to be excited to hear this interview. If you're a Steve Vai fan, this is unlike anything he's ever done. You're going to get to know new things about Steve Vai in this interview. And if you're not a Steve Vai fan, and you could care less about Steve Vai, I think you'll find out more about the creative process of someone who does music for a living and how they channel creativity from a spiritual base. It's quite the interesting interview. So, very interesting stuff.
Cool.
Yeah. So that's coming up on Thursday. So that's all right here on the big program. So that'll do it for today's show for True Crime Tuesday. For Mallie Fox, I'm Tim Dennis. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow for Supernatural News right here on Darkness Radio. Thank you for joining us again for True Crime Tuesday.